I hate this place is a game that's launching on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox tomorrow, and I was lucky enough to get a key to test it out for the last week. And today I'm going to talk to you about the game and yeah, whether I think it's worth the purchase or not. Now, of course, I do want to thank Pirate PR for giving me the opportunity to actually try this out and cover this. Now, there's a description for the game. And I'm going to be honest, they wrote it up perfectly, so I'm not going to do it out of the top of my head. They say, I Hate This Place is a craft-based isometric survival horror game with twisted monsters and warped reality. Scavenge and build to survive terrifying days and nights while using stealth and noise to fight enemies that stalk by sound, all styled with bold comic art and an 80s horror vibe. Like I said, I really couldn't have explained this better. They're inspired by Darkwood and Stranger Things, and I think it's really fitting for the setting. Now, I played about the first 1.5 hour that I've recorded, and after that I tried to play some more, so I had more to talk about on this video. Didn't film it, might have been a mistake, but you will see snippets of the game throughout this video. Now, it is what I would often refer to as a dungeon crawler. It's semi-top down, kind of like the Diablo games is a prime example, but instead of an action game, it is a survivor game. At first, I really felt like it was lacking in the horror department. Now, I'm not a big horror fan myself, so I didn't mind, but when you label your game as horror, you do have a few expectations. Now, I will say, as I was playing more through it, especially last night when I was trying to get the final pieces for this video, yeah, there are some bits that are pretty proper horror. Kind of made my skin crawl on my back, and that's probably one of the best compliments you can get for a horror game. So yeah, overall, I really feel like the game does everything it wants to do correct. From its style, from its vibe, to the storytelling, through the voice acting, which you don't always expect from a game on this budget, on this level, but it has some pretty good voice acting too.
Hurry up! Lou, I really don't know if this is a good idea. Where the hell are we going?
What? You're still scared of your aunt? You're all grown up now, girl. Wake up.
I'm not scared. It's just, I really want to know the truth.
You will. Come on, this is the place.
So kudos to that. The art style is twisted but pretty, which is always a very fun combination to talk about, and definitely fits the Darkwood Stranger Things vibe, which was said in the email. Completely agree with that. Gameplay wise, there is stealth and combat, and it feels a little bit chunky. And it feels chunky by design, because after all, it's a survival game. It's not really a survival game as you can just blast through it. So, kudos to that too. There is one downside that I came across, and I feel like managing your resources is a bit more of a hassle than it should be. After you've gone through the what I would consider the tutorial dungeon, you get to your home base, a farm where you can craft stuff and plant like little buildings to get resources. Um, but I also kind of felt at that point that I was stuck for a little bit. Might have just been a skill issue. I don't know. But I was out of food, out of bandages, out of a lot of utility that I needed to continue. So I was kind of just stuck on that farm trying to get all the resources that I needed. Now the game doesn't really explain how the farm works. You kind of just have to figure it out on your own, which, I've been gaming for 24 years. Like so many of you who have been gaming for years to come, you don't need everything spoon-fed, so that's okay. But there is an off chance that you might just continue not really looking back at it, and you will probably get stuck with too few resources throughout the game. But hey, that's a you problem. That being said, the farm does work as kind of a reset point because you can pretty much craft everything you would need throughout your adventure. It's just gonna take time. And I feel like that slows down your progress a little bit, and that's a bit of a letdown. But it is also kind of a safety guard. If at any point in time you try to rush through the game and you completely fail, you can go back to your farm and you can get resources, you can get food, you can get items that you can use to craft bombs or get cans that you can use to distract the monsters, grow food that you can turn into ingredients so you can keep your food meter fulfilled. So it does all that. That's a good thing. It's kind of, in my opinion, a reset point. If you screw up at any point during the game, spend some time on your farm, get what you need, and continue. Now, one thing that I did found weird about this farm is that when you try to gather resources, it's on a timer. And I'm pretty sure every single one of you have played one of those video games on your mobile where you build a building and it takes that long to complete. And this game kind of has something similar in the way you collect your resources, but at the same time, you can skip all that by just sleeping in your bed. To which point, I just think perhaps it would have been better if there was like a daily limit that you could have so you could just get those resources, then use them, instead of walking around from the outside of the farm to the inside to sleep and then continue and collect more resources because you can pretty much do that on the infinite loop and you'll never run out of things like scrap and wood and water and bandages because you can't just pretty much continue to do this for hours on end and be fulfilled for the rest of your game, which would be very boring to do because you're just basically walking in and out constantly, just clicking through menus. But at the same time, if you want to do that, you could. I wouldn't recommend it myself, but it's something you can do. So at least giving you the options. I'm not sure I would have gone that route myself, but hey, overall, I'm very pleased with how this game is playing out. So yeah, be a little bit nitpicky about this.
Looks like we're not in Kansas anymore. Fuck, Lou. What have we done?
After I tried to explore the farm a little bit and see what I could make and how easy it was to make things, I started exploring and quickly ran out of bullets. Kind of hoping there's going to be a little bit easier way to craft those so you can kind of defend yourself because you get a gun at the start of the game with a limited amount of bullets. That's all logic, makes sense, completely normal. And you get a bat. And now the bat is a little bit viable against some of the monsters you're facing, but against a lot of the monsters that you find, especially in the open world bit in between the dungeons, they'll just plow through you. There's no way you can hit them with a bat, and you kind of just have to flight. There's not a fight or flight reaction, it is a flight reaction. You cannot fight these creatures at that point. Which, might be intentional too, but considering they also respawn every now and then, wouldn't be bad if you could somewhat easier take them out. Because you can take them out, and it doesn't take too much, but the resources you need to take those creatures out, they're a little bit harder to come by. So if you take out a zombie moose who's trying to run you over constantly, and it turns out all he was guarding was just a pile of scrap, then that was a massive waste of resources. So, would have been nicer to have a little bit more reward with your risk. That's all I'm saying. Um, Overall, the world building is pretty good. Very pleased with the fast travel system between certain points in the game. The amount of save points you have, so you're never gonna lose too much progress if you screw up at any point. Um, and yeah, just the entire vibe and the setting is exceptionally well done.
If I need a hand to get out, this saw might do the trick.
Now, so far, it's all about the survival bits. I mean, the monsters are somewhat grotesque, but wouldn't really consider them horror per se. And I was thinking, during those early hours, I don't think I would have called this a horror game. Then I went into one of the nightmares, and that opinion changed quickly. Now, this was properly skin crawling, which, is what you want from a horror game. And again, I'm not a horror fan, so it's not particularly my cup of tea. I can look at it objectively and I can figure out whether I don't like something because it's not for me or if it's bad. In this case, it's because it was not for me, because it was really well done. Again, you have the voice acting, which does a really good job. Often in more budgeted titles, you will find voice acting of people that didn't really try. In this, the first nightmare had someone who was very nervous. You could clearly hear that in his voice. You'll then figure out the rest of the nightmare why he was so nervous. Uh, I would say with fairly good reason, but he also had that comment, but nah, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's very well done. The voice acting, the noises, the music in those nightmares are really, really well done. Just add to the atmosphere. And it's also when you reach those nightmares that you're pretty defenseless. So at that point, it really just goes from a survival open world style game to kind of just a horror puzzle. And that shift is done, yeah, extremely well. Kudos to that.
I got the God summoning book for Christmas last year.
Lou, I'm serious.
Come on, I'll show you later.
You're really acting weird. Even for you.
And yet you're still here with me. Quit talking. Close your eyes and focus. Great horned God who watches over us, give us the strength and guide us on the paths of this fleeting world. Open our eyes and show us the truth. Give us the strength to...
Now, one thing with those nightmares, which again, I'm not too much of a fan of horror, so I'm not sure if that's already been a thing, but it felt new to me, is that at the end of that sequence, you had to give an answer. And that was based on the stuff you had found throughout the nightmare. And you're gonna have to figure out if you truly understood what happened in that nightmare. Was someone the victim? Was someone lured in? Was it a murder or an accident? That type of stuff. You would have to give the correct answer to get your rewards. And I think that's a really interesting concept. It just really makes you tune in on those nightmares. And yeah, that's something you want from an atmosphere like that. And it also fits well with that Stranger Things feel of, trying to figure out what the hell is actually going on. Like the kids do in Stranger Things. So yeah, again, with that, it's, again, just really well done. Overall, when it comes to I hate this place, there are a few things that I would have done differently, but they're not game breaking, they're not no goes, they're not red flags or anything. Overall, the game is just extremely well done, which, you know, all the props in the world. This game is going to release tomorrow for 30 euros or 30 US dollars. And yeah, if you're a fan of survival, if you're a fan of horror, it's definitely worth that money. Now, for me personally, I had a little bit of experience with the horror part of the game, and I don't think I will continue, which is kind of a shame because I was curious to see where the story was going to go. But yeah, maybe I'll change my mind at some point. But the horror thing is really not my thing, but it's really well done, which is why it's not my thing. So yeah, I do really recommend if you are a fan of the genre, do absolutely play it. Do actually try it out because it's extremely well done, and I haven't really seen something of a horror game in that style myself. So with that, it's also something new, and that's always worth a try.
just need the hint. Get it?
So with that being said, do give some love to Rock Square Thunder, the developers of this game, Broken Mirror Games for publishing the game, and of course I do again want to thank Pirate HR for lending me the key to actually make this video. Be sure to check out their Steam page, their store pages, and any of their socials. I'm going to plant as much of it down in the description below as possible. And of course, thank you for watching, and hopefully until next time, goodbye.
Elena? Is that you? Come here. Elena! Thank God. Where have you been? You came home yesterday and didn't even say hello.
I know. It's just... I was with Lou. Have you seen her?
Lou? No, I thought she was with you. You didn't get into any trouble, did you?
Us? Trouble? No way.